Sometimes we get some confusion about the model and people think it's a motivational thing or whatever. It's not. The model is about long-term structures. It's about how you answer the phone. It's about how you do visits. It's about your standards. It's about your financial system and model and all that. So it's about structures, long-term things that are going to hold up for decades. The model is not just about financially driven initiatives like MPR or percentages of net patient revenue. Some people, again, I realize that Multiview is, we started in the financial area because what? You do what you know. But we evolved and we are always very, especially myself, always very interested in what was happening on the front line. This is why I went on so many visits with clinicians and all this, because I want to know what is our business? Who's the best at doing it? How do we make systems to help create the best people? So it's really about quality. Again, our great financials are going to come out of doing the mission or purpose well. But it's not just about that. What do we have here? We have a normally distributed bell curve. And pretty much all things that can be measured fall in this curve. Okay? And so we have the center here, which is the point at which all measures of central tendency converge. Mean or average, mode, median, all come together in the center. In the Multiview world, we have another name. We call it the huddled masses. Are here. Okay? When we're talking about the model, we're not talking about this. Yes, you absolutely need to know what the 50th percentile is in order to have any claim of being a professional, especially a professional manager. I'm always astounded how little managers know about the very industry or movement that we're working in and where our organization is in relation to that. And that's why we have to know what the 50th percentile is. And that's why you have to have benchmarking. You have no claim of being a professional if you don't benchmark. So what if you're hitting your own numbers in a vacuum? And you should know what those numbers are and then place yourself on this bell curve according to your ideals of care and what you feel is a high quality experience. But when we're doing the model and the things that I'm going to be talking about are not here. We're talking about hospices that are living here or living here. Living in the extremities of the bell curve. Of the 4,500 hospices, or whatever number you want to use there, we're talking about the 20 that live out here or here. Sometimes it's about spending more. Sometimes it's about spending less. But it's not about following the huddled masses that are taking their behavioral and performance cues from the outside world. No, it's about those with courage that go out here. Because it takes courage. Because when you're an outlier, do you think most people are going to applaud and tell you what a good job you're doing? Fantastic, great work, Andrew, whatever. I'll just relate one quick story. I showed up at one national meeting. I was the CFO. I've been the CFO for 8 different organizations, and I was CFO for this one for 10 years. And this is a not-for-profit organization, and we had nearly a 19% profit margin over a decade. That's the average, 19%, with no community support. That's just from earned revenue from Medicare, Medicaid, commercial insurance, all that. Well, do you think the rest of the CFOs in this elite hospice group all clapped and said, "Great job, Andrew, way to go"? No. They held me with contempt. I mean, mocked the situation. Well, boy, what are they skimping on? I mean, what what's up here. I mean, what kind of accounting are they doing? But all I knew is that we had millions and millions and millions of dollars in the bank. And that's rather convincing evidence that it's working. So it takes guts to live out here. It's a lonely place. You might as well know that up front, that you'll be talking about things when you're doing the model and doing things that most people, maybe they thought of. But it's a big difference when you just think about something and actually having the guts or the courage to live out here. Because you will not look like other organizations. Your standards will be much, much, much higher if you're going to live in this, especially when your quality is out here and your financial results, both. Here's another example of an outlier. Okay, here we kind of have a trend line, time, performance. The folks, you need to know this, again, in order to be professional, and that comes from your benchmarking. But the folks that you want to pay attention to are folks that are living here or here. Your outlier, your freak, your weirdo, your measurement error, whatever you want to label them. That's what you want to, that's what's worth studying. Because if you focus on average, all you're going to get is average. So focus on the 90th percentile. Never focus on the mediocre majority. Human beings, by nature, are herd creatures. And that's a fact. So you've got to consciously actually resist this. Obviously, sometimes there's a lot of wisdom in the herd, too. But this is where our personal judgment, our intelligence comes into play. We know when to follow the herd and when not to, when it doesn't make sense, or there's a better way. The bell curve is always with us. So I think the point here is that you choose where you want to live on that curve, and it is your choice.